Salutations YouTube, I'm Blue Sicx and this is going to be a splendiferous episode of Blue Sicx Tarot where we celebrate the glorious power of steam.
Well, I would, but it looks like I'm locked out of my account.
No, I mean steampunk.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't forget to mention Abney Circus and Steam Powered Giraffe.
You didn't write that in the script, that feels a bit clunky anyway. Can I start the intro?
Yeah, I guess so, never mind. Roll the intro.
Cool, okay. Roll the intro. Right, so, as I said before, it's about steampunk. Now, this is one of my go-to decks, one of my favourite decks to use. Now, the box it comes in, about this sort of size, so it's about 21 centimetres, so it's about just slightly under 8.5 inches big. So when I actually ordered this, I was expecting a standard 4 or 5 inch box. This came in the post, which was quite a surprise to me. So first of all, we've got once again lovely decoration there. Something nice to have on the cabinet. So of course you've got all the details on the back there, and of course some of the cards on the back. So inside the box, a nice thick book. That's just over 1 inch thick. And what I like about this book is that it goes through the cards, as most of them do, but the card is in black and white, but it pretty much fills up the page. So you get a nice detail on how some of these cards look, even before you open the cards themselves. Now, of course, on the back, it has a few tarot card spreads, kind of themed around steampunk, and at the end of the video, I'll be doing one of the spreads and showing you how they work, how it looks. It's a very good spread in my opinion. Now, I like to keep most of my working tarot in packs, little pockets, so that's what I like to keep my tarot, my steampunk tarot in. So I'm going to take a look at the cards and how they look. Right, so first of all, we will start with the majors. So first of all, we have, once again, the Fool. Now, obviously, some of these cards are based off of the Riders, so they are very much inspired by the Rider-Waite. So first of all, I definitely say these are cards for beginners if you want to start out with something cool. So the feeling with these, they are, once again, nice artwork. Do enjoy lovely artwork, can't go wrong with that. Now, some of the cards some of the ones that traditionally male are female in some of these. So, for example, we have, where are we? So the Chariot, for example, is female. Strength usually is as well. But once again, you get a nice look at these. I like the fact that the wheel is cog-like. That's always cool. Justice there. Hanged Man, I do quite like in this. I'm also going to do like a top 5 favourite of the deck anyway, so we shall see. But some of the design is amazing on these. Do a quick break. Let's try and do this as quick as possible. The moon there is quite cool. Sun. Judgment. And the Woe. Now, as I said, these cards are really nice, love the artwork. The back of the cards, also very lovely there. Got nice kind of detail there. Now I'm going to go to the Minors. Now the Minors are done in order of swords first. Now some decks, when they go for the Minors, go for a different theme per deck. And so the art style varies, which we'll probably see in the next video. Now, for these ones are quite standard. There's no particular theme per set, per suit, as it were. I mean, there are variations, of course.
Traditionally, the Five of Swords is three people on a battleground, one walking off with all the swords. But I do quite like this one here, kind of sense of travel and adventure. So the swords do have a nice look to them, but as I said, they're very Rider-Waite inspired. So I always like to call these Rider-like cards. So, and there aren't any graphic images in these either, which might be relief to some of you who saw one of my forecasts last few weeks ago. So these are quite nice and light, even for the more negative cards. A lot of people find swords very negative, but these, even the negative ones, are done in quite a nice manner. So we've gone to Pentacles, and as I said, I'm not going to try and do this too long because I find other videos just drag this session out and they make it 20 minutes. And sometimes I feel I don't want to sit and watch the entire deck. So I'm happy just to click through and just get the clip notes. So as I said, these are quite nice. These are some of the cards there. The other problem is I'm finding it very hard to make this all entertaining, which is why I'm doing a nice intro and an outro for some of these videos, for the reviews. And we've got the wands, which are also very nice. As I said, there's no real specific theme, but if you are familiar with the Rider-Waite, you can definitely see that they wear their inspiration on their sleeve, basically. So these are, once again, very nice cards. Almost done. Yeah, so this one I think is pretty cool. But as I said, I'll do my top 5 later, and then afterwards my favourite spread of this deck. Yeah, so some of these cards are, they're overall a very positive feeling deck. They're not particularly glum or gloomy, but I said even the negative cards aren't particularly glum. So now we've gone to the chalices, so I said I'm going to just kind of breeze through these. But yeah, these aren't particularly glum. These are one of the decks. Sometimes when you buy a deck of tarot, you go, oh, I like the look of this deck. Oh, why not? I might get that one. This was one of the ones where as soon as I got it, I thought, right, I have to use these. So these were an immediate use. I went out, bought a bag specifically for them, just so I can kind of go, right, these are definitely your work deck. Now, when I do a work deck, I tend to have about 4 decks of tarot and maybe 2 oracle. Right, so that's the basic. That's the basic look. Now, the other thing I always find with cards, it helps to know the size and stuff. So, where's my tape measure? So these cards are kind of what I like to refer to as the standard size. So these are just shy of 5 inches. So it's it's about 12 centimeters. And so on this side, so they're 3 inches across, about 7 centimeters. So these are standard size. Now, the thing I always find with some decks, they're amazing, but they're difficult to shuffle. So what I like to do, these are really easy to if you can shuffle, these are very easy to shuffle. And if you do have someone, if you're doing a reading with someone they can't shuffle, you spread. So I always like to check if they're easy to spread, and these spread really nicely. So once again, if you want to start with a pack of tarot that are quite nice, and you want to do something, and you want to start out with something, I'd definitely say these are for beginners. There's no great detail, there's no in-depth detail where you have to study them over. So I definitely say these are for beginners. As I said, these are one of my favourites, these are my go-tos. So next up, I'll be doing my top 5 favourites and why I quite like them. Now, for my top 5 favourites, now the reason I'm doing this is because we all have cards in a tarot we'll relate to, and some that really kind of encapsulates the meaning and feeling of the cards. So you can have 5 different decks, and you can have favourite cards of different suits from each different deck. So these are my 5 favourites, just because I like the sound of my own voice, if I'm honest. Right, so one of my favourites, and I'm doing this in order, is Strength.
Now, I really like this one. First of all, as I said before, lovely artwork. I'm going to try and stop saying that through pretty much all my videos now. And there's some amazing artwork, as it is through the deck. Now, the reason I like this one is, now traditionally, the card in the Rider-Waite is a woman kind of next to, kind of like restraining a lion. Now, some depictions she's grappling with it, others she's just kind of sitting next to it. Now, this one I quite like, because first of all you still have the infinity symbol, so I can't see it because of the glare there, so you've got the infinity symbol, which is above the lady anyway. But the reason I like this version is because it reminds me of the fable of the lion and the mouse, where the mouse takes the thorn out of the lion's paw, which you can see there, and I think that's quite a lovely image. And it does kind of encapsulate the meaning of the strength card, because the meaning isn't necessarily physical strength, but inner strength and willpower. Because to tame a lion, you can't tame a lion by fighting it. You soothe, you know, music soothes the savage beast. So you don't use raw strength, you have to use willpower and like emotion, and more of an emotional draw to it. So it's about emotional strength, and this card I quite like because it does illustrate that meaning quite potently to me. So put that aside. So my next card I've chosen is the Devil. Now, first of all, I think that just looks fantastic. It's big, it's scary, it's oppressive. Now, first of all, you can, well, just by seeing you can tell that's just amazing. And it also works with some of the theme because the machine has got these people on strings. So they are being manipulated by the devil. Now, in the traditional sense, the devil represents either like self-restraint, addiction, and temptation. Now, this one has more of the self-restraint because they are on strings, yes, but they don't really appear to look like thick strings. They could get out of that if they wanted to, but they feel that they can't. They feel that they are trapped. And once again, this is a card that does quite illustrate that feeling. One of the classic meanings, plus it just looks amazing. I think that does look fantastic. Now, the next card is the Moon. Now, as you've probably guessed, my favourite colour is blue, and how they've depicted the moon card here is fantastic. Now, traditionally you've got the two lighthouses, and you've got a crab coming out the water, and you usually have two wolves, and you've got a cat there and a wolf there. But the towers, both the towers are highlighting the moon. Now, the moon usually means something that's hidden. It's kind of similar to the High Priestess, which represents unleashing the inner you. You've got the ability within you to do it, but you need to bring it out. And the moon's colour shows something similar. So it's highlighting a part of you that's there but you hide. And you've also got this little river just continuing on in the distance. So it's not just surface level, there's a lot more to it than just the surface, because you've also got the side of the moon you never see. And once again, beautiful looking card. Now, my next one is the Two of Swords. Now, first of all, moon's in it. Looks always cool. Moon, I think the moon looks great anyway. And one of the reasons I like this card is the fact that she kind of has like a ballet posture, and she's standing on a cog there, all nice and steampunk. They're standing on a cog there, like a sunset, and it's just like a nice, well balanced card. She looks nice and well balanced. For what the card traditionally means, it looks quite positive. As I said, this whole deck, even the negative cards, don't feel so negative and oppressive, with the exception of some as we saw earlier. Now, traditionally, the woman is still blindfolded, but she's sitting down with the swords crossed. Now, that usually means conflict, but with this card, it feels that there's not as much conflict. however it's still important. There are still two things going on that you need to sort out, but they're not necessarily clashing. But there's still two important things that need to be done. And my last one is the Two of Coins, or Pentacles in this case. I just like this because it's a penny farthing, coins, pentacles, penny farthing, love it. I'm a cyclist myself. I am too lazy to learn to drive, but at the same time, I've been on the road long enough on the bike to think, is it really safe? But that's a thing for another video. But I just like the forward motion in this. Now, once again, traditionally, it's usually a man holding two coins with a kind of rope around it in the infinity symbol, weighing one against the other. So one pentacle is higher than the other. In this case, one pentacle is larger. So when I put this, when this card comes up into reading, it's yes, you've got two things going on, but you know one is more important than the other, and you need to put the more important one first. I just like how that looks. It does look quite cool. Nice cloudy sky there. As nice as cloudy skies can get. And this kind of works for me with how the meaning looks, with how it interprets the meaning rather. Right, so they are my top 5. I will probably do another top 5 in my next video. Now, moving on to a tarot card spread that comes with the book. The book comes with quite a few tarot spreads, but I'm picking one that looks really cool and it's really useful. I hope you like that one. Now, let's say you've done a reading for someone that had a question and an outcome, and the person didn't quite like the outcome. Now, as we usually say in tarot, stuff like this isn't written in stone. So, if you want an alternative, here's what you do. So let's say, for example, the Chariot in this case was the card that was the outcome. And so you thought, okay, they don't like the, they don't want this as an outcome, and they want to see what else they can do. So this spread, you shuffle the deck, and then what you do, you lay a card down for every number for the value of the card. So what we do, we'll lay down 4 piles of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 extra card for the outcome. So then you do that face up, like this. So what you have here, can't really see that very well, we'll worry about that in a second. So what you do, you say, right, this is the outcome for your reading. However, here are alternative paths. Here are other ways to get an outcome. Then the querent, the person you're doing the reading for, says, okay, I like the look of this one. So what you do, put the other cards away, and then say, okay, here is the outcome you got, here is a different outcome that you want, and here are the cards you use to reach this outcome. So I've got 7 there. Should have gone for another number. So we'll put that aside. I'll put that aside for the time being. So this is the outcome you want, and this is what you do to get to this outcome. And so you would. I'm not going to do a faux reading for this at the moment, but so this person, you could say, has to be a bit more to achieve comfort. They'd have to be a bit more headstrong and and fight for what they need. It's going to be overwhelming, but you've got support behind you with it, a lot of support, a good partnership. One thing I always like to say about the Two of Cups, it's a good card, but the Two of Cups is a card where it's the card where a lot of people think the lovers should be. So when a lot of people think of the meaning of the lovers, this is probably more closer to the believed meaning than the actual meaning. Yeah, so then they've got companionship, just keep practicing and keep working hard. Put all the other things behind you that you know you don't need.
once again be headstrong and forward going, and that's how you achieve this. So if you do get a card outcome and you or the other person doesn't like the outcome, you can use this spread as an alternative, and then for an alternative outcome, and that's always quite useful if you're doing something small. So I hope you liked the video, and we'll head off to the outro. Well, I hope you liked this video. Once again, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because YouTube's algorithms aren't great at the moment. Where's my prop to hint for the next episode? Well, by using the magical power of editing, it's going to be behind you. Okay. You're kidding, right? Don't look at me. It's the best we can afford. We don't really have much of a budget. You're allergic to shellfish. You didn't want to wear Speedos and you couldn't find your swimming goggles. That's the best we could do. Okay. Fine. I guess this will have to do. I'll see you in the next episode where we talk about mermaids. Bye.